Well, the skies were clear in Houston Saturday when some were surprised by loud thunder-like booms. Then a possible meteorite crashed through the roof of a suburban home, tearing through 2 stories and landing in the kitchen. NASA said the booming sound was a meteor breaking apart as it sped by at 35,000 miles an hour.
We did see.
So Nestle's who are
Look, so Trump just
thing that
Well, the sky.
With this report,
is there anything at all?
So just arrived
3 weeks in.
He's now to the war.
We will.
And good morning to you.
With news overnight,
a security alert has just.
So David, the U.S. and
it's only been a few.
At approximately.
Here's the breaking news.
The thermoelectric plants breaking down one after another, the lack of oil, the supposed blockade, or the blockade, I don't know. And in the end, those who are suffering are the people, the children, the mothers, the elderly, all suffering. Besides the fact that there's no food, there are thousands of resources that don't exist in this country. Now with these blackouts, what little food people have spoils, and you don't know what to do anymore. You don't know if you can buy food for a month or for a week or for a day because you never know when the electricity will go out. 1 minute everything is lit up, and the next minute everything goes down.
And good morning to you. And sources tell us that ICE officials were caught off guard by this move from the president. The president posted it on social media, and then ICE officials were scrambling to try to figure out how exactly to carry out the president's plan. Sources say this is going to start with about 14 airports across the country, but those numbers could change. And while the administration insists this is all about easing those long lines that you are seeing at airports across the country, Democrats are accusing the president of playing politics. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer saying, quote, "It's unacceptable for workers and travelers to get taken hostage in political games." We are 38 days into this partial government shutdown, and Democrats are still holding firm on their demands for changes to the Department of Homeland Security after the shooting and killing of Alex Preddy and Renee Good down in Minneapolis. Lawmakers are set to leave town for a 2-week recess on Friday, and right now there's still no deal in sight, Michael.
with news overnight of a deadly collision at New York's LaGuardia Airport. These are pictures from the scene after an Air Canada jet hit an emergency vehicle crossing the runway late last night. 2 are dead, dozens are hurt. The airport will be closed for several hours as the NTSB prepares to investigate.
We will supercharge our domestic industrial base.
Last April, President Trump unveiled his global tariffs plan, so-called Liberation Day. China retaliated to devastating effect, choking off rare earths to the U.S. Ford Motors, for one, suddenly without magnets, had to temporarily stop making Explorer SUVs. After a series of trade truces between the U.S. and China, the rare earth spigot came back on. Litinsky says few realize how close we were to economic catastrophe.
There were major manufacturers that didn't even realize the extent of the rare earth magnets that they had in their supply chain. We were seeing the economy on the verge of shutdown.
With markets reeling, senior Trump administration officials summoned Litinsky and Rosenthal to Washington.
We got called into the Pentagon, and it was clear that there was a directive from the president to solve this problem as quickly as possible.
What did the government want from you?
The Pentagon.
Here's the breaking news, and how appropriate, because I'm in the airport right now. Tom Homan, who's the border czar, is now confirming that ICE agents will be in airports around the country starting tomorrow. He's going to consult with the head of ICE right now to figure out a plan. They don't have a plan yet, which is surprising considering just how bad they were with what happened in Minnesota. So let's hope people in airports won't be pushed to the ground or dragged across the airport floor, or perhaps let's hope they're not shot. I hope their behavior is better in the airports than it was on the streets of Minnesota and other places. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. ICE agents in the airports. By the way, in the airports, because the government is shut down, the TSA agents are not being paid. There have been blackouts and sick outs all around the country in airports, and they're trying to not have that happen. They're trying to get some manpower in the airports to get people through. But
David, the U.S. and Iran are exchanging these threats, vowing to attack civilian and energy infrastructure now, which could severely impact people across the region. How far are they threatening to go at this point?
Yeah, as far as those impacts, Ariel, it's not just in the region, but around the world. I mean, so let's look first at the threats that President Trump made. He's threatening to go to directly attack Iranian power infrastructure, power plants that would obviously have a devastating effect on the Iranian population, not the Iranian armed forces, not the government of the Islamic Republic, but the people of Iran, a country of more than 90 million who rely on electricity, as we all do, to live their daily lives. So it's really a remarkable threat for the President of the United States to be making. Now, of course, if President Trump does in fact follow through on that threat, there's the question of what Iran would do to retaliate. And there's a new statement today from a lieutenant colonel in the Iranian armed forces who detailed exactly what Iran says it will do in that event.
It's only been a few weeks, and you've clearly you've raised a ton of money so far. You raised a thing. A lot of it is Silicon Valley. For the country at large, that's I don't want to say demonized industry, but it's a frightening one for a lot of people. Speaking of homelessness, Meta is about to lay off, I think, 15,000 people. We're all very concerned that AI is going to make a lot more people be in that position where they're vulnerable to homelessness and all kinds of other types of issues. Why are they supporting you? Why should we trust their money? And why should we trust their industry?
Well, first of all, I think
You have 5 seconds.
I think I'm the only candidate in this race who has actually regulated tech. Mm-hmm. As mayor of a big city, we use a lot of technology, including AI, and
He's now to the war in Iran. President Trump with a new deadline to open the Strait of Hormuz. But Iran is defiant, promising to retaliate and escalating the attacks against Israel. The dramatic images coming in tonight from across the region. ABC's Tom Sufi-Burridge reports from Jerusalem.
Tonight, President Trump giving Iran a 48-hour ultimatum amid escalating Iranian attacks on Israel. Writing on Truth Social, Trump warning Iran, if it doesn't fully open without threat the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours, the US will hit and obliterate their various power plants, starting with the biggest one first.
It seems we are at an inflection point because the president has put a very precise day and time at when the strait needs to be open. And if it's not open, the threat is to take out the electrical grid within Iran. That kind of threat probably has to be met if the Iranians don't agree to open the straits.
It comes after the US orders thousands more Marines and sailors on board. And
tomorrow will be one of the worst days in history for the stock market and the commodity markets. Oil will go up, gold will go down, the stock market will go down. Why? Donald Trump, the sex offender, has said he will blow up Iran's oil and gas infrastructure. Whether he does it or not, he has given Iran 48 hours, which expires on Tuesday. And the markets will take this madman seriously. So, people will be selling. My advice to anybody, if you're in the market, and if you don't need the money, just stay put. Just ride it out. If you need the money, that's a different matter entirely for you. I'm not giving anybody any.
So a new lockdown is being introduced around the world. And no, it's not like the 2020 lockdown. They're calling it an energy lockdown. And what that means is that a lot of countries are now putting in measures like you should only work from home. You should only leave your house for essential travel. Airlines are also cutting their flights. American Airlines have just dropped their flights by 5% this week. Now, energy prices are going up, and it's going to become a situation where some people actually cannot afford to leave the house because energy prices are so high. If you go to your local petrol station right now, the prices are already up and the full effect hasn't even hit yet. I mean, don't get me wrong, the work from home situation, that sounds like a benefit for a lot of people. So I can get why for a lot of people that's awesome. And that's.
We did see that Iran fired 2 missiles at Diego Garcia. That's that island in the Indian Ocean, which houses a U.S.-UK joint base. That was 4,000 kilometers from Iranian territory, furthest Iran has ever gone. You just heard Ambassador Waltz say there might be a difference there in how Israel and the U.S. assess that capability Iran has in terms of what they fired. But Israel says these were intercontinental ballistic missiles that could hit Berlin, Paris, and Rome. Does NATO share that Israeli assessment?
We cannot confirm that at the moment, so we're looking into that. But if this would be true, it is the more evidence that what the president is doing here, taking out the ballistic missile capability, taking out the nuclear capability from Iran, is crucial. And exactly as the ambassador just said, Ambassador Waltz, we have seen with North Korea, if we negotiate for too long, you might pass the moment where you can still get it.